Welcome to The Point of View. It's your favorite current affairs show on television here on Citi TV. We pick the right issues, we get the right guests, we ask them the relevant questions on issues that matter to you. It's an interactive show. If you're watching on television, we have a WhatsApp number on the screen. Get in touch. Let's make it interactive and exciting. If you're watching on Facebook, there's also a conversation that will definitely be going on downstream as we discuss the biggest topic in Ghana this week. And today, the hashtag is Eat Ghana Rice, Ghana Rice Debi. We're going to deconstruct the economics and agriculture of local rice. And I have some three very interesting guests. Stay tuned. So how much rice do we eat in Ghana? What percentage of that is imported? What proportion of that is produced here? How good is local rice at all? And what can we do to save precious foreign exchange? Those are some of the questions I will be answering tonight. I have three very interesting people. I have the spearhead of the Eat Ghana Rice campaign. He's also the CEO of Citi FM and Citi TV. He appointed himself after a visit to the northern regions. Attah-Mensah is my guest. Welcome to the show, Samuel.
Thank you. Thank you.
I also have the convener of the Rice Millers Association of Ghana. He's in the person of Yaw Adu Poku. Mr. Adu Poku, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Great. And I have the head of programs and advocacy of the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana, who is also a rice farmer, Charles Nyaaba. Charles, great to have you on the program.
Thank you.
Great. So I'm going to start with a report that really triggered this campaign. We've done a series of reports. Samens himself was in the northern region, visited some rice farmers. But earlier than that, our Upper East Regional correspondent, Fred Awuni, was in Fumbisi to speak to rice farmers. It was not a pretty sight.
The concerns by these farmers, highlighted by Citi Business News, led to an emergency visit by the Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana National Buffer Stock Company, Hanan Abdul Wahab, to the Fumbisi and Bedelimbisi rice valleys. The visit was to ascertain how the lack of ready market for the locally produced rice is affecting the farmers. The visit afforded the Buffer Stock Company an opportunity to interact with farmers and witness huge quantities of bagged rice along the valleys awaiting buyers. Farmers solely dependent on Attah-Mensah Industries Ghana Limited for the purchase of the produce, but this year, Attah-Mensah could not buy from the farmers, claiming that last year's stock had not been sold out fully. After a series of engagements with the farmers, Mr. Abdul Wahab outlined government's short-term measures to reduce the post-harvest losses.
And we are going to unleash our license buying companies to come down here immediately and mop up the excess grains that they have here, or paddy that they have here, so that they can take them to nearby mills, mill them and supply to government institutions. So far we have over 1,350 registered license buying companies who are working under the National Food Buffer Stock Company. But we term this situation as an emergency one. So we would have to carefully select those who are ready with resources to come in immediately and buy. Currently, we are dealing with Ministry of Education and Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection. Plans are far advanced with other government institutions like Ghana Prison Service, Ghana Police Service, government hospitals under Ministry of Health, community development schools under local government. We have requested for their food requirements so that we'll be supplying them directly. MOU will be signed.
But the farmers say the CEO's assurance will be considered as mere words until they have the buyers to purchase their produce, which are getting rotten.
But I will only be very happy when the assurances are put to practice. I will get permanent happiness when they are able to come around to help us, assist us to catch the produce away from the farms, either get good warehouses to keep them and get us a very good market.
It's a good news, but until they come and then, he's able to do what he has said, unless it is done, we won't be able to say much.
As they have assured us that about 2 weeks' time, they will bring people around to come and buy all our produce. We are praying that it shouldn't be one day wonder. It should be continued.
The farmers have also been proposing permanent solutions to address their challenges to boost rice production in the country for export.
Rice milling industry within the Fumbisi enclave. Going forward, next year by this time, we shouldn't be standing and talking about this again. We know the government can do it, and we know the president is able, and we know he will do. So if next year by this time it is not done, then we don't have a president. I'm sorry to say.
The right solution now will be like rice mill. And then when we have the rice mill, we should have where she will also dispose his rice off. So we think if government comes in to reduce the importation of rice and allow us to also produce and then process within the country, I think this problem will be surely solved.
The harvesters are not there. If government can come in, try to provide platforms where the rice will be dried and permanent storage places, and then provide us with harvesters. Then they will now link up with the buffer, as he said, to mop up every rice which is produced from this farm.
Buffer Stock CEO Abdul Wahab spoke about government's long-term plan to increase rice consumption in the country as a means to ending importation of rice, which will create a ready market for rice farmers.
80 of such warehouses have been awarded. We have taken delivery of 7 number which are completed. We are expecting that 40 will be completed by the end of the year to augment the existing one that we have. We have also identified government silos of the defunct Food Distribution Corporation. And today, some people are in talks with the Honorable Minister, Food and Agriculture, to come down and rehabilitate these silos for future use in the country. So those are what we want to use for the long-term approach, whereby we can store for regional food security basis. In every region, we will have a regional food security basis. In that case, we will be so much food sufficient that we will look out for formal export to our neighboring countries.
Project coordinator of the Savannah Zone Agricultural Productivity Improvement Project, Felix Darimani, also hinted that plans were in place to support rice farmers with farming implements to boost rice production in the area.
As part of our support to agri mechanization, we should also procure small-scale to medium-scale processing plants so that we can have cottage processing of rice, milling of rice for the local market. SAPIP is also coming in. We are procuring a number of combined harvesters. We are even procuring what we call automatic nurseries and transplanters for valleys like this.
The farmers are excited with the assurances from the Buffer Stock Company CEO that in the next 1 to 2 weeks, buyers will come and mop up their farm produce that is going bad here at the Fumbisi and Gbedembisi rice valleys. But not until the buyers really come for their produce, they remain hopeless. For Citi News, I'm Frederick Awuni, Fumbisi.
So that report was actually the second report following our initial visit to the place. So this report followed the visit of the National Buffer Stock CEO to Fumbisi. Well, Matthew 9:37, the harvest is truly plenteous, but the laborers are few. But in this case, it's not just the laborers who are few. The laborers are few, the buyers are few, the millers are few. Let me start with the farmer, Mr. Charles Nyaaba. Where is your farm? Are you familiar with this story that we just heard?
Yeah, those people are my members.
Okay.
One of them is the leader of the ABOs, Mr. Richard Akoka, and then Kadri is another member. My farm, you see, if you are familiar with the terrain in the area, we always say Fumbisi valleys. Actually, there are 3 districts along that stretch that we produce rice. We have the Bulusa North and South. The Bulusa North is where we have the Fumbisi valleys, and then we have Sandoma area. Now, there's another area, Mampurugu Mogduri district, which is Yagba. We have a lot of valleys along that stretch too, and that's where my farms are. So normally when they say, we always say Fumbisi valleys, but the valleys are also divided into different valleys. But because Fumbisi is in the middle, we always say Fumbisi valleys. So that's one area in Upper East where we have rice. Now there are other valleys. When you go to Boku West, you come to the Vrongo area, the Tono, and then Bolga, we also have via irrigation. All these places.
So Upper East and Northeast, these are the 2 regions with the rice we are talking about.
We are talking about. Now, even when you take Northeast area, this is where we are, the region is certain border with Upper East. But when you go to northern part of Northeast, around Nasia, Nabogo area, we also do a lot of rice. And I've been getting calls since this story broke up because our focus has been in that area. But Nasia area, they are also struggling. You go to Janga, they are struggling the same thing. They don't have combined harvesters. Now you go to northern region itself. You go to Gusiagu, you go to Karga, around Yendi, even Bimbla area, they do a lot of rice. They are struggling with the same problems. You come to places like Buntanga, we have the same story. Now I'm coming to down south because now rice is grown everywhere and it's doing very well. You go to western region, even Sefi, these days, people are using or are cutting down their cocoa trees and planting rice. They have a lot of rice there. You come to Greater Accra, our team was in Asachare. Our members were fighting for one combined harvester that came there to harvest. The rice is ready. Some are actually falling down, and we don't know what to do. So the problem is also there. Now, when you go to Volta region, Ohoy, Nkwanta, you go to a place closer to the border, we do a lot of rice. So I think, first of all, I think that's what I have said earlier. I have to thank Citi FM very much for what we are doing. Because this issue of rice glut is not today. It has always been there. But I think it never caught media attention.
Like it has this time.
Yeah.
So what is the problem? Is it that we produced too much rice, or there were no buyers, or we didn't have harvesters, or we didn't have millers? What was the problem?
You know, now let me go back to the Fumbisi, which we are focused for now. Fumbisi Valleys is known for rice production over the years. But what we always face is you produce, and then because there were no combined harvesters, no buyers, on most occasions, the rice are burned by bushfire. Farmers are not able to harvest. We used to have the big combined harvester, and that one could not harvest in the water when the water is muddy. But because the place is valleys, so on most occasions, farmers are not able to harvest. And then there were no also buyers. So when Avenas came on board 3 years ago, and then the advent of this crawler combined harvester, the place opened. So more farmers went there. Last year, to be specific, or the moment you finish harvesting, Avenas and their team were there to take the rice. So most people actually make a lot of money.
So Avenas will come to your farm?
They will come to the farm. When you harvest, they just weigh it and then take it.
So they collect the rice themselves?
Yes.
And do they pay cash?
They pay cash.
Wow. And this is last year?
This last year. Last year, they were giving us 1.3 Ghana cedis per kilo. And it was good. So many people. I did 50 acres last year. This year, I did 100.
Oy.
And there were people who were not farming. Even in the cities, they went there. We have prominent politicians who were even ministers. They are doing, I'm not going to mention.
Because they heard that Avenas was paying cash?
Yes, because rice production is driven by demand and supply. Nothing else. All the other factors, you can hold them constant. Once there is demand, people will find a way of producing to meet that demand. And that was what happened last year. So most of us actually expand our farms. New people came on board. Now, what happened this year is that because we overproduce, and then some of us were also promised by the government that they will bring in combined harvesters at a subsidized rate for us to be able to purchase, we went into overproduce. So when it came to the harvesting, it became a problem. That was the first problem. So those who are able to harvest, they also have problem with the marketing, because we earlier on had conversation with Avinas, who promised they were coming to buy everything. Actually, they came on monitoring. We keep engaging, and then we were all hoping that they'll buy. But at the week we started harvesting, we started calling, and they said the stock they have from last year, they've not been able to offload.
So they can't buy anymore?
They can't buy anymore. So it became an issue. So market women then came in, and that's where the buy two, get one free came in. Because
buy two, get one free?
Yes. You see, it's a concept,
wow,
but it's reality. Because the bags that they used to take for one bag, they come this and and say, no, it's not up to a bag. So they have to fill it to the brain, and then they pour some inside. They'll force it to enter. So by the time they get 2 bags, you have to use 3 bags. So it came to stay when they come to your farm, and then you fill it. They just agree that for them not to go through the labor of trying to fill another things, you give them 3 bags, and then you pay for 2 bags. So that is the situation this year. Now, that's one part of it. The second part was also that those who could not get the market were expecting to get places to store. Because we were promised that by the time we start harvesting, the 1 warehouse would have been ready. But you go to a place, there is only 1 warehouse that is completed. And that warehouse is even 1,000 tons capacity. 2 of us can fill that warehouse. So it's not enough. So this is what compounded the whole problem.
So number 1, no buyer.
No.
Number 2, no storage.
Yeah.
I see.
And limited combined harvesters.
Limited combined harvesters. Those were the 3 challenges you were facing.
Yes,
I see. Now, who is Avinash in this story? Are they the only buyer, or are there other buyers?
Oh, there are other buyers. There are numerous buyers. We have women who come from Kumasi. They also buy and then take it to go and give to other millers to supply to the open market. Now, the difference between Avinas and the other buyers is that Avinas come to weigh, and their prices are good. And the other buyers too, the quantities they are buying is so negligible compared to the amount of rice that is produced.
I see. So Avinas buys a lot.
They buy a lot. And when they buy ready cash, but the other buyers, because we are not getting market and we're stranded with storage facilities, you have to give it to them to go and mail and sell before they will come back and pay you.
Does Avinas mail the rice on the site, or they buy and go and mail?
No, Avinas plant is in the Nyankwala, in northern region. So they buy and then carry it to northern region.
And go and mail? And
go and mail. Now, they have 2 types of milling. They do the pie ball, and then they also do the raw milling. That's the white rice. So if the rice doesn't have the moisture content that is required for quality milling, then the pie ball.
So let's end on this. Your 100-acre farm, has the rice been bought?
No.
It's still there?
I've not sold a single
How many
bag.
tons did you produce?
I haven't finished harvesting. I harvested halfway. The rice is on the farm. I can show you the heaps here, the pictures. As we speak, but because I'm hoping, I had a conversation with the CEO of National Food Buffer Stock.
The man we just...
Yes. We had a meeting last Friday. And then...
so your rice has not been sold yet?
It's on the farm. It's not even outside the farm.
It's there?
It's on the farm. Because when I bring it out, the place to store is a problem.
You don't have a storage facility?
So I want to be sure that I won't get market there. Then I'll...
Okay. Let me come to Mr. Adu Poku. Is this year's problem a unique problem, or this has been the situation all the time? How unique is this year's challenge?
Good evening once again to Annette VS and the panel. Come harvest, this situation arises. But it's a solvable situation. What we have to bear in mind is that harvest comes and every community is ready to harvest at the same time. But we don't have the resources available. So given one area, for example, if you have about, say, 200 or 500 farmers, average 2 acres, thereabouts. you are talking about 1,000 acres. And 1,000 acres, you need a harvester for about a week or 10 days to do that kind of job. So it creates that stress within the farming community. But it is an occurrence that we are all the time able to resolve. It is just that this time there had been a lot of media attention. And apart from that, the planting for food and job has begun to show fruits, is bearing fruits. And the NAPCO program is also bearing fruit because it's brought a lot of extension officers into the field, not only for rice but for the cereals. And because of this, we are seeing what is happening. There is, it's not overproduction, but there is much more yield from the land as against the previous harvest. This is what is happening. But what we are calling glut, which I beg to differ.
So it's not a glut?
It's not a glut. It's absolutely not a glut.
As in, it's not an overproduction?
It's not overproduction.
It's normal production, which we are not buying?
We are not buying, period.
Why are we not buying?
We are not buying because way back in February, most of the millers started soliciting or going to our bankers and telling them about what we are anticipating to happen. But unfortunately, the financial houses are not ready to come in, especially if you are talking about agro projects. The financial houses across board are not interested in.
What are you saying? That since February, you, the millers, have been telling the financial institutions that there's a harvest coming, you need money to purchase and mill. And they say they won't give you money.
They are not giving us.
Are you serious? Are these banks or savings and loans?
Banks.
They say they don't have money.
They did not say they don't have money. What the requirements they are asking us is way over our heads.
So what explain the process? You are a miller. You need money to do what?
To go buy the harvest, to bring in the paddy, so that my brother sitting here will not go through the stresses.
So you get the money to pay him for his rice, and then you take over, mill it, brand it, and then you sell it.
A farmer is just farming. Once the harvest comes in, his job is finished.
Good.
So he expects the aggregator and then the off-takers to come and take it.
Which is you?
Yes.
And the bank said they won't give you money?
They are not giving us.
Is it that the interest is too high, or they say they won't? What do you mean they won't give you?
At this stage, we are not even talking about interest.
They say they won't give you?
They are not giving us because they are asking for landed property in the city.
How long have you been doing rice milling?
I have been doing rice since 2013, 14.
So you have like 6 years in the rice milling business?
Yes.
Do they know where you stay?
You mean the bank?
Yeah, because I'm surprised. You look like somebody they should know.
Yes, a lot of the banks in the system knows me.
Where is your mill?
My mill is situated at New Longro.
Huh?
New Longro. That is the town next to Bamboy. In the Bono East region, that is Kintampo North District.
Okay. So what's the size of your mill?
The total size is 6.5 tons per hour. That is about 108 tons a day.
So where do you buy your rice from?
I buy my rice right from the Kintampo end through Babato all the way to Yapaga.
All the way to Yagawa Kubori?
I buy.
And you went to the bank to say, since February, that they should give you money?
We anticipated that this situation will come. And we have some driving forces. For example, the climate. We have to be careful, especially for rice coming from up north. You have to take care of the climate. So, with the advent of Hamilton, the moisture level goes all the way down, and then the rice is broken, it becomes brittle. So when it does that, you cannot mill and bring in whole grain rice. 100% broken, price is slashed by 60-70%. So it is a loss. Because of this, farmers try as much as possible to offload it from their hands, give it to the mailer, and then they are done. And we know this is going to happen. So we started soliciting the banks.
And the banks, they don't give you?
They are not coming forth. impediments upon impediments, but all the time we know that they are not interested in us. Their interest is actually in the importers, because the turnaround time of the importer is so short.
Are you serious?
I'm telling you. Yeah.
Ghanaian banks,
oh my dear,
say they won't give you money to
CEOs,
buy rice and millet.
Call the CEOs and ask them. They are all Ghanaians. Call them and find out from them how many of them are sponsoring farmers.
And this is not money for gift. This is a loan that you will pay back.
Yeah.
Of course.
Wow.
I go to a bank and they ask me, do you have a landed property in the city? I say, no. Well, feed dragon.
They won't lend against cash flow that you are going to mail and sell and pay back.
In Ghana here against cash flow?
But that's how you lend. It's against cash flow. They look at your okay. So sometimes you went to the northern region, and you came back and announced yourself a Eat Local Rice ambassador. What did you see that convinced you that you needed to do this with your whole arsenal as a radio and TV station?
Thank you, Bernard. So, for me, of course, we had done stories in the past. We had done stories from the Aveime rice project. We had done the Fumbisi story. And so we knew that the situation was bad. But for me, it was the dejection and the pain that I saw written on the faces of the farmers. And the fact that, it was a no signal, no signal. Harvest is ready, but we have no hope because nobody is going to buy. And really, if you have over 150,000 people in that chain, in the 5 northern regions put together, and that's a national security issue. It's a clear national security issue. And I'm saying that, and we are entering an election year. You are not hoping that these people will go home hungry. The next you see is that an army of people will come down south.
Come and look for work. Which really does not exist. So, by not attending to them, we create a bigger problem. And we haven't even found a solution to the one that we have on our hands. So, my take was from the unemployment situation and the exasperation that it came with. Then we moved from village to village, from farm to farm, talking to the farmer associations. And Bernard, when you go there, what you see is that they are all gathered under a tree, just waiting for something that they didn't know what. Just sitting down?
Yes.
True?
Yeah, that's the case, Bernard.
So you go to the farm and go and sit down?
Bernard, I said these days, I lie on my bed and I don't sleep.
Hey.
What my brother was telling you is the case. Last year, even I used peasant farmers as an association. We went from a bank to bank, chasing the banks, talking to policymakers to see whether they can guarantee, as part of the money that is lodged in Azim Bank for agriculture purpose. We never succeeded. The money is there, but for a smallholder farmer or somebody who wants to invest in agriculture,
they won't give you.
They will still be asking you for things that you can never produce. Why he was talking, not only land. They are looking for a land with a nice building on that land before you'll be given opportunity to access the loan. So that is the situation. Now I have sunk 175,000 on that farm.
Of your own money?
Yes. Friends and family.
175,000?
Yes. Because it costs 1,750 Ghana cedis for the cost of production for 1 acre.
Wow.
And all is on the farm. I don't know what is going to happen next.
So this is the kind of thing you saw when you went north. So your idea was what? To campaign that we should eat the rice?
First of all, I was very sad. I was very sad when somebody told us about 2 ladies who had just been brought back from the hospital. And these ladies apparently attempted committing suicide.
Wow.
The reason is that they had actually gone to take money from microfinance companies to expand their farms last year upon hearing that Avnash has started buying, only to be told that Avnash were not going to buy. Where are they going to take? You know, so this is the kind of situation. So I actually called Avnash because everybody kept mentioning Avnash. That was the first time I'd heard the name Avnash. So I called, and the gentleman called David, fortunately happened to be in Tamale because they had come for the festival. And so I met up with him, and I said to him, I want to go to the place today. He says, oh, we have to. I said, no, we are going. He said, okay, I can spare 1 hour. So we put all the production team together and went to the place. And Bernard, one thing that I noticed is the capacity of Avnash. From what they tell me, that unit there is about the biggest we have in the sub-region.
Not just Ghana?
No,
in the sub-region.
500 metric tons a day.
Wow, the Nyankpala thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. And they have an annual capacity of 180,000 tons.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I think the concept was to be a receptacle to take care of the northern sector for milling. Okay. Now, so they are able to do both the parboiled and then the raw grains, which is good because they talked about the weather. The weather you can't control. So if the rice or the paddy rice comes broken, the only thing you have to do is to parboil it, which they do well. And so with such a capacity, I was thinking, so I asked them, so how much did you do last year? They said they did 20,000. So you have 180,000 metric tons capacity, and you could only do 20,000, meaning that you have a gap of about 160. So in my mind, so how can we help? Say, look, all we need is for people to buy. So I said, okay, then I'll elect myself
to start campaigning for us to eat and buy.
Yes.
So you are dealing with the chain from the consumption point of view.
I straight from the consumption point, because I didn't think he was right. I didn't think it was an issue of production, because the production was on course and it was increasing, and more people were getting into the space. And if we develop it, we can double or treble this in another year or two. Because this is just the northern part. Yeah. He speaks about the Bunu area,
the middle belt.
You know, rice is one produce that every region in Ghana, produces rice.
So we can decide that we won't even import 1 grain of rice.
We don't need to.
We
don't need to.
You are serious?
Bernard, we can.
We can produce enough rice to feed the whole Ghana.
Even for 3 years,
even for export.
I'm telling you.
We'll take a break on that note. We are talking rice. Have you eaten local rice? We'll introduce you to some very interesting local rice brands as well. I have the Ghana Rice Ambassador, Attah-Mensah. I have a large miller in the studio in the person of Yaw Adu Poku, and I have a rice farmer who has 100 acres. He doesn't know what to do with. We'll help him decide what to do with the rice on the show tonight. Stay with us. Welcome back to The Point of View. So tonight we're being educated. I'm told we can produce enough rice to feed not just Ghana, but the whole of West Africa. Every single region in Ghana has a capacity of producing local rice. And we have enough rice produced that if we wanted to stop importing, we could actually start feeding ourselves. But the problem is that we don't have buyers for the rice, partly because the millers can't have access to credit. And so we are discussing this. My guest in the studio, Yaw Adu Poku, convener of the Rice Millers Association of Ghana, Charles Nyaaba, head of the Programs and Advocacy Peasant Farmers Association, and Attah-Mensah, a self-appointed.
Very much.
I'm told you have been endorsed by self-appointed, but endorsed.
I enjoy the self-appointment. If you allow yourself to be endorsed, they can sack you.
Self-appointed local rice ambassador. So, just quickly, what's the difference between the rice we produce in the north, the 5 regions of the north, and the rice we produce down south? Is there a difference?
Yeah. I don't think there's much difference. If there's difference, then we can talk of rice produced on irrigation, and those that are produced on upland. Even in north, when you take a place like Tono, via they produce on irrigation. If you come to the south, we have a place like Asachore, Ashaman. We have a Kitenoff, where they also produce an irrigation. But for the upland rice, where they just produce it using the rain-fed, majority of us are now using a variety called Agra rice. That is preferred by many consumers.
You call it Agra rice?
Agra rice. I think Agra sponsored the seed development, so they just name.
How many farmers are into rice production? Do you have an idea?
I think I don't have the data on that, but I think
from Avanash, they have 32,000
that they buy from.
Well, they
say there are 32,000.
A population of 32,000 farmers in all the northern regions.
Just the north
from Avanash. That's the figure they give us. Yes.
I see. What about you as a miller?
I go into agro program too.
Okay.
And I also farm.
Oh, you're also a farmer?
Yes. And under our agro scheme, we have about 4,800 farmers.
Wow.
And this stretches from the Ejura belts all the way to Salaga. And then it starts from Babato and climbs up.
What's the difference between the rice made or produced in Ghana and the rice we import?
The truth is that the rice made in Ghana is superior to the imported rice.
Are you serious?
Period.
Superior?
I brought it to the biggest importer. Last Sunday I had a meeting with them, the biggest importer to Ghana. And his crew has just flown into Ghana because of what seemingly the crisis. And they brought in even their people from Vietnam. And my rice was opened. And I said...
For inspection?
Yeah, I told them to put some in the cooker.
Okay.
And the aroma, if we put a cooker here, the aroma will fill the whole area. Our rice is very aromatic. And that is what the Ghanaian looks for. And now we are not growing any variety. The farmer is smart. They know that two varieties stands out. That is the Agra, which was developed by Agra, and then Jasmine, which was also developed by the CSIR.
So this is research-based?
It's a research-based.
So if you say superior, is it just the aroma or the quality of nutrients?
The quality, because our rice is fresh from the farm. Our rice is fresh from the farm. I go to buy his rice. Give or take, within the next 10 days, I've already milled and it's on its way to the supermarket shelf. So our rice is fresh and nutritious.
More nutrients than the imported one?
No, you cannot compare.
But they were saying there's something called number 5 long grain, American something.
Don't forget that all the rice that comes in has to spend some time, minimum 1 year before it's released.
So it's old rice we are eating?
It's old rice that we
eat.
And you also have to take into consideration that these are rice that are all the time fumigated. So you have a lot of chemicals in those kind of rice. I'm not trying to run it down, but that's the truth. We may also have done it, but we don't have the money to fumigate. So we just do it fresh as it is. The only chemical that you can find in our rice is the fertilizer.
So if our rice smells nicer and has more nutrients, why are people... Because, for example, when I was interviewing the Buffer Stock guy, I was saying some of the students, when you want to give them rice, free school feeding program, they are not used to it. They say they don't want to eat.
That's not true.
It's not true?
Yeah, that's not true.
The students have not said they won't eat those?
I don't know that on record. No headmaster has said that. That's not true.
I'm not
that's being disingenuous. I mean, look, it's work to be done. That shouldn't be an excuse. I mean, we've all been to secondary schools. Who in Ghana secondary school rejected anything from the Daniel? Even gas oil crowd were eating. Even gas oil were eating gas oil. But the point still remains that, look, Ghana, where we've gotten to, uptick, who is buying the rice? Because see, they need to be engaged. They need to, profit from their labor. And what we are saying is that we eat rice. Every Ghanaian eats rice. So the least we can do is to buy or patronize the local rice. I think that there's a taste issue, yes. Look, I never ate foreign rice until the 90s. I was introduced to foreign rice only in the early to late 90s. So Prior to that, all I knew was local rice. Now, because the whole local rice industry, I'll say, collapsed, the big merchants who had money to import rice took over the trade. That's one. Now, these big merchants have money. So they also extend credit to the wholesalers and the retailers.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Now, these people, they are already struggling financially. So they cannot compete with the importers.
That's
true. Now, there's another thing about storage. This organic rice thing cannot be stored forever. Weevils will just take over.
Within 4 months.
You understand? How come the imported rice can stay for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years? Something is inside that we should be watching. Food and Drugs Authority, Ghana Standards Authority, they should wake up and be
Is that what he was saying, that
yes.
they add certain things that drives away the weevils?
Yeah.
They must have.
Do not.
They must have.
So our rice is fresher to be eaten within a shorter period of time.
Superior, nutritious.
What about price? Because, in fact, there's a comment somebody said I should ask you that they heard you say on radio earlier today that the Ghana rice wasn't more expensive than the imported rice, and I want you to clarify.
Well, somebody had made a categorical statement that one of the reasons people are not purchasing Ghana rice is that Ghana rice is much more expensive than the imported rice. And I said, like for like, I don't think it's true. Meaning that if you take the same kind of rice, compare foreign and local, the local is cheaper. But you see, I don't want us to rush and box every local or Ghana rice into the same category. Everywhere you have grades. So people have their value chain and they price differently. But all other things being equal, the local rice is cheaper. And it's there. If you go to the market, you see.
So is it that when we go to the shelf, they don't put the local rice there or what? Because a lot of people kept asking me where they can get local rice to buy.
You see, the shelf is controlled by the big boys. The shelf is controlled by the big boys. And that's why today somebody actually was telling me that all she knows about local rice is the one they put in the margarine thing, in the margarine Congo barco.
They don't know that it's branded.
The stones inside that you spread it and remove the stones small. And so what I did was I picked the new ones that I've seen and showed to her. She was marveled. What I'm saying is that if somebody is controlling shelves and controlling the trade, for a small farmer who's now trying to brand their rice, they're not going to get shelf space. In fact, according to the Confidant report, only 6% of local rice will be found on the shelf space of the 12 major supermarkets in Ghana.
6% is even high.
Wow.
Yes.
So if you go to any supermarket, the rice on the shelf will be foreign. 90-something% of the time.
No, sorry. I think my understanding is that 6% of the rice universe that you see there is local.
Yes.
Meaning that 94% is foreign.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
You agree with that?
You understand?
Yes, I do.
And that's very painful.
You wanted to make a point?
Yeah, I wanted to add to the rice ambassador, the point he made. You see, I think there's a perception that people have come to adopt without actually seeing the reality that local rice is full of stones.
Yeah.
You know, some years back, when we had difficulties in getting combined harvesters, normally when we use sickles to cut the rice, then we put it on the floor and beat with stones. So the grains mix up with the sand and the stones, so we gather it, we know it and bag it. So obviously, if you mill rice like that, there are stones. But the rice we are harvesting these days, which are also milled in good millers like your own and Avina's one, I'm telling you, we have the royal rice. I'm not promoting it.
No, you have to promote. I mean, that's the whole idea.
The royal rice, if you take it, if you see the color, the physical appearance of that rice, and then anybody brings you foreign rice, you will not see any difference. In terms of taste, to me, maybe it's because I grew up in the village where we were fed with a local rice throughout. The taste of royal rice is far better than any other imported rice that we are consuming in this country. I haven't done any quality analysis, nutritional analysis, but from what nutritionists are telling us is that the local rice is also more nutritious compared to the imported rice. So I think we need to disabuse the minds of the young ones who are coming up and people who grew up in the cities. They've never had a feel of the local rice. That the local rice is full of stones and you can't eat it. So that they will begin to.
So there's a perception issue about local rice.
Yes.
There's also the issue of availability.
Availability.
How do we deal with the availability issue?
And then marketing. Adverts. How many of our rice is being advertised on your station? Until you pick up this program, many people don't even know that we have such quality rice in Ghana.
So is this your farm?
That's my farm. That's my rice. That's me.
You are in the orange pink shirt.
The pink set. Because
with Kambu.
We were trying to dry it because
it's plenty like that.
Yes,
and you haven't finished harvesting.
We've not even gone half.
You are standing on a mountain of rice.
This is just one hip.
Hey,
I have
where is this?
This is Yagba. The community is called Kubanga.
Kubanga.
Yeah.
And you are harvesting it yourself.
Yeah, that is it. So this rice is lying there. I don't have storage.
But why would you go and buy it for him?
It's a simple thing. You call this mountain. This is my supply for a day. I'll finish all this within 1 day. That's it. Because you see it like this, give or take, it's about 10 tons. So,
and how many bags would that be?
That's about 100
bags.
Maximum. Look, even if it's 1,000 bags, that 1,000 bags translates to 100 tons. Because we look at the weight at 100. That's the average that we do. So it is not anything to be afraid of or to panic about. The bottleneck, as I see it clearly, is that the resources to pick this rice from the farm gate is not available. And that is affecting all of us.
Wow.
That is the bottom line.
We'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll try and resolve the matter and also read some of your comments. We're still talking local rice. And I have some brands of local rice that I'll be sharing with you. Hopefully you'll consider. And we have a special event.
Because this sharing can bring problems. You mean sharing for them?
No, show. We'll show it. And then, of course, we have a special event in a few weeks' time where you can actually come and buy the rice. Because what Samet is saying is that the shelf space is controlled by someone. So a lot of people don't know where to get the rice. So we are going to create a platform where you can actually come and buy the rice. This is still the point of view. Stay with us. Welcome back. Welcome back to the point of view. We're still talking local rice. Here are some quick questions. Bernard, this is an excellent packaged Ghana rice being sold at Legon. It has become a delicacy in my house since we discovered it somewhere Q2 this year. Sad enough, this is not advertised nor is it available in many supermarkets. It's produced from University of Ghana Soil and Research Center. This is CK from East Oyarifa. Kojo says, Bernard, we have 147 districts in 16 regions producing rice. A total of 175,000 farmers now. You add. Bernard, I'm watching you live on your show. Challenges with local rice production. What they are saying about the banks not giving farmers loans is a fact. No bank is willing to give a loan for agricultural purposes. And this is very, very sad indeed. Let me read a few quick comments as well. And then we'll talk about the bank issue. This one is, Bernard, the Ghana rice. My wife brought some for our home, and it takes forever to cook. Foreign rice is usually faster in cooking. True or false? You have to address that as well.
That's a fallacy.
Bernard, can you ask Samet to do checks for us again in relation to the pricing? A friend from a company in support of Eat Ghana Rice campaign decided to provide local rice to employees as part of the end-of-year package. But to his surprise, this was rather more expensive. But Samet mentioned on Peace FM this morning that this can't be the case. So he needs to clarify. I think I read this already. Bernard, below are a list of some locally produced rice. for you. And I'm going to put that list up on the screen. I don't want to only advertise a few people's brands. Sam, this bank thing is quite serious. So you are not getting money from them as a producer. You and Miller are also not getting money from them.
I haven't worked since September. Normally we start working from September.
Wow.
The mills are all silent. And he is crying because we are not picking. So why? Why
so
are we not?
Producers can't get, millers can't get access, but importers can.
Because it's quick money. You see, the banks are at a place where they are assessed based on their ability to multiply their funds. And so the development agenda is actually lost on them. I mean, if you are a bank licensed to operate in Ghana and you cannot finance agriculture, then you have no business being in Ghana. Because everywhere else, there are special purpose banks, I understand, and there are commercial banks. But here, I think the government can come in and also incentivize some of the banks who pay attention to agriculture. Because with agriculture, if you deal with one farmer, the chain of people who depend on the farmer and the whole value chain is enormous. I mean, you can't even count. So that's why the government has to step in and actually incentivize banks who will do well to help support farming, like in this case.
So please show us the local rice brands that we have. But there's an event happening as well, right? So we have some of the Aduane Hini Jasmine rice, Copper Jasmine, Champion Long Grain rice, Ophir Ghana rice, Duke rice, Mr. Rabbit Jasmine rice, Jumera, Nanes rice, Love Napa rice, Royal rice, Prime Line rice, Brown rice, Zinaria rice, Ya Baby Ghana rice, Epcom Brown rice, J rice, Bongo Grains. I hear you have another brand too. What's it called?
The Mandin rice.
Mandin?
Yeah.
That's your brand?
Yeah.
Do you have your own rice brand as well?
Yes.
What's it called?
Prime. Digo Prime rice.
Digo Prime. And what sizes are they in?
5 kilo sacks, 25 and 50.
How much is the 5 kilo?
5 kilo is about 20 cedis.
20 cedis?
Yes.
Where is it sold?
We don't have it now.
You don't have an outlet?
No, we sell basically in the open market.
Normal open market?
The normal open
You don't
market.
sell any of these big supermarkets?
No, they won't take it.
They won't take it?
It's only Malcolm which is trying, but Malcolm sells only Avnash.
Malcolm sells only Avnash?
Yes.
So where do you sell yours?
No, I supply.
Are you a supplier?
But I'm now also going to start selling as well.
What's your campaign doing about that?
Well, the campaign is to stimulate purchasing. You understand? To stimulate the demand side of it. To let Ghanaians know that it's time to buy what we grow. And this weekend, Malcolm ran out of local rice.
Okay. Oh, they did?
They ran out of most of the Malcolm shops. So Avnash had to. The reason is, I think Malcolm has a certain turnaround payment time that a lot of the small scale people cannot handle. Okay. You know, the time that they pay.
It takes a while.
It takes a while. So, and these are small. They want their money. And that's a problem. And I think for us, opening this up, look, this thing that we are starting is not ending anytime soon.
Please show the program we are doing. There's an advert I want you to show. We have a rice eating, rice selling, rice buying event. So, no, not this one, the other one.
So
this one is a forum on December 7th. This one, Christmas made in Ghana. You see the goat, it's standing on top of the rice. And then the vegetables are near the chicken. So on 14th and 15th December, we are going to do a rice exhibition. So I don't know, I want to see your rices there.
Yeah, we'll bring it.
We'll supply the rice.
You supply the rice.
So we are there. I'm with them tomorrow.
Yeah. He's meeting the whole...
There's a meeting tomorrow?
Yeah.
Yes.
The National Millers Association now.
So if all Ghanaians say they will buy local rice, even if the banks don't give you money, but you can do the business.
Currently, we are now catching up because of the consumption numbers. We are consuming about 1.1 million metric tons thereabouts.
Collectively?
Collectively. And 650 last year was imported.
Good.
The balance was from the local sources and the other unapproved.
So can we say that we are moving to 1 million local rice eating?
We expect, looking at the harvest coming in, that easily we may be able to reach that 1 million.
1 million tons of local rice?
By the time the harvest is in all the harvest is in.
Good. We have run out of time.
Yeah,
So-
Bernard, I just wanted to give a short message. You know, Citi FM are doing well. We have other stations who are doing well. But we are challenging other private institutions like banks, even government institutions that buy rice for their staff for Christmas.
They should buy
Why
the
don't they
local
come in this season to go to Abidjan? They will supply the rice with the
Cabinets can supply all of them.
I'm telling you, I've been engaging them. So we are urging the banks to at least take this challenge
up
and then buy rice for this Christmas for their staff.
Please, you heard it here first. Let's eat local rice this Christmas. Courtesy our local rice ambassador, self-appointed, Attah-Mensah, MD of CEO of Citi TV. Thank you very much. Charles Nyaaba is head of programs advocacy at Peasant Farmers Association. He's also a rice farmer. He has 100 acres. And then Yaw Adu Poku is a convener of the Rice Millers Association. He is a rice farmer and a rice miller. My name is Bernard Alve. Please, whether it's rice water or mutu or jollof rice or wache or what other thing can you do with rice? Or even check or kanzu. Local rice is better. It smells better. It tastes nice. We'll kind of eat rice on the TV show one of these days. We'll cook it and eat it here. So thank you very much. Please buy local rice, eat local rice, and spread the word. My name is Bernard Alve. Thank you for watching The Point of View. Good night.
Point of View is sponsored by Dalex Finance.